Happy Monday, and thank you so much for making time for This Is The Day. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And I'm Frederick Njiri.
What do we have for the start of the week?
All right, COVID is now sticking its nose into State House, and we're going to find out exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Plus, we also find out, interestingly, there's a spike in Christianity or Christian converts in a country called Iran, despite the attempts by the governments there to try and stop this from happening.
Yeah.
And then I'll also give you a reason why you need to call your old parents as we celebrate the Elderly Day today.
Well, that and much more coming up in this hour of the show. And the WhatsApp number to use and join our conversation today is 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316.
Well, the Kenya National Union of Teachers, or NAT, the Secretary General Wilson Sossion, has outlined 5 fresh demands ahead of the scheduled opening of schools in September. In a statement addressed to the Teachers Service Commission Chief Executive Nancy Sossion says that the safety of teachers and pupils was paramount. He challenged the Commission to suspend its delocalization policy, saying teachers should be posted in schools next to their places of residence. The union also demanded that, in line with the state's social distancing rule and public gathering policies, all classes should have a minimum of 15 pupils, a demand that would have classes subdivided into many streams.
You know, that reminds me of when I was in school.
Yes.
And we had a total of, it was, I think, a maximum of 4 streams.
Yep.
And I think that was a requirement by the government. But when this is implemented, whereby there's only 15 pupils in one classroom, then the number of streams will have to increase.
True. Currently, most classes have around 50 pupils.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that's an extra 45. No, not 45.
That's an extra 35.
Yes.
Yep.
So you'll have to find a place for them. One of the key things that Sossion is saying that is very interesting is that teachers should be allowed to teach in areas where they come from.
Yeah.
So that just in case, Sarah, like you come from an area called Kiandutu, you're only allowed, or you should only teach or go to teach in a school within the area of Kiandutu. So that's what he's telling the TSC to implement now.
All right. Meanwhile, there is a new survey that has shown 70% of Kenyans do not support the reopening of schools before the coronavirus pandemic is fully eradicated. And the study was conducted by Infotrack research firm, and it shows that 41% of Kenyans, mainly parents, are afraid that if the schools were to be opened, the cases would spike due to the lack of social distancing amongst children. This even as the government calls on parents to be at the forefront of their children's safety upon reopening of schools, as Education CS George Magoha says.
The government is thinking of producing 2 masks which are washable per child. Do you get the point? But those of you who can afford to buy more masks for your children or grandchildren will do if you love them. Don't start making noise when they are not. The government shall ensure that those schools have water tanks. But you have had me encouraging the MPs to do the same. If they do the same, then it releases the money that the government has to help us to ensure that each school has sanitizers. If there's any school that doesn't have enough toilets, it gives us the opportunity to divert that money to improving the toilets. Let's work together on this issue. It's not a question of government doing and we sit.
Well, we have CS Magoha there. But, that's a high number of people. Parents,
True.
Actually, 41% of them are actually scared that if the schools are reopened before COVID-19 is totally eradicated, then there might be chances that cases will increase.
And that's even one of the cases that NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion is quoting, saying the safety of parents and pupils is paramount. And that brings us to the question today. Do you support the calls by NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion that teachers should only teach in areas where they come from. So if you come from Kiandutu, you only teach in Kiandutu Primary School and primary schools around that area instead of being taken to different parts of the country. Let's have your thoughts on the same on SMS line 20316 or WhatsApp 0786 316 316, and we'll be discussing this.
Well, let us now look at the State House. And now 4 State House officials have contracted COVID-19. The officials are among those people who underwent the targeted mass testing on June 11th. That was last week. State House spokeswoman Kanzi Dena said the 4 are already undergoing treatment with their close contacts being monitored. She, however, assured that President Uhuru Kenyatta and all the members of the First Family are safe. Now, today, 133 more people have tested positive of the virus in the last 24 hours. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said the new cases were detected from the 3,365 samples that were tested, bringing the total number of infections to 3,727.
We have today 133 people who have tested positive to the disease, out of a sample of 3,365 persons who we tested over the last 24 hours. This now means that Kenya has 3,727 people who have tested positive to date. And the total number of samples tested is 118,701. We continue to be happy about our discharges. Today, we have discharged 33 more patients from the various health facilities in Kenya.
Well, this even as the medical practitioners hint of a possible COVID-19 virus mutation in the country.
The issue of asymptomatic positives shedding the virus is very rare. And you will recall that the following day, that statement was pulled down. It was reversed, so we urge you to continue with what we had always advised. And we have seen very many asymptomatic positives even in our community. If you see someone not wearing a mask, mwambie akuondoke tafadhali. So if you are not wearing your mask, please protect us. So asymptomatic positives can still shed the virus. We maintain that and we maintain our masks. The issue of mutations, yes, they have been recorded in very many, and WHO has recorded a series of this. You asked whether we have any of recorded these in the country, and yes, we are in the process of conducting a research. It's being done one of our labs in Kilifi, and there are some preliminary results that are showing, yes, there could be some mutations, but the report will be out once it is validated from the other chemistry labs, and you get this in due course.
Well, ukiona mtu hajavaa mask,
toroka
mbio kabisa.
Well, health workers in the forefront of the war against COVID-19 are now calling on the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, or the DCI, to hasten investigation into the attempted theft of PPEs meant to protect them from the COVID-19 virus. The health workers say the boldness with which the said perpetrators had attempted to clear equipment donated by the Chinese government from the airport was an indication that they were well connected. The heist saw a private company seek to clear equipment belonging to the government, claiming it was they were the rightful owner, only for the government agency to present the same papers. Foreign Affairs Office had written to the Health Ministry seeking clarification after noticing that a consignment from the Chinese government had gone missing.
Truth is, healthcare workers are very strained at the moment in the facilities across the country, and this is across all 47.
This building here has got its fair share of criminals. Like any other marketplace, there are a few mad cases in here, and we will unearth them.
We also experienced an incident of persons wanting to steal PPEs, I assume, to go and sell them, to private hospitals and so on and so forth. These are thieves, and I can't speak for them.
Because I would assume that the law is going to take its course and we are going to have them arrested.
So if someone can steal that, literally, and find other ways of circulating it, maybe at a price or to make money out of it, that is very immoral. I mean, healthcare workers are at the greatest risk as we speak.
It's interesting, you know, and we least expect this from especially people who are working in the office of the Ministry of Health, you know.
Yeah.
This is something that is supposed to help Kenyans, and then, okay, tuachie tu hapo.
Well, you know, I'm very sure right now as you're driving back home,
Yeah.
if you're like most of us who went to the pump, try and put some fuel today, you will have noticed that the prices have changed.
Yeah, sure.
The prices went up yesterday with diesel and kerosene basically being the ones who benefited the most, because the diesel went down by around 3 shillings and 80 cents, while kerosene 17 shillings and 31 cents respectively. So we had been celebrating. I remember the last time we celebrated last month we celebrated because the fuel prices had gone down, and drastically so. But well, let's just say we're feeling the pain in the pump.
Well, right now they've increased by 5 shillings and 77 cents per litre. That's quite some amount there. After, you know, it was a happy time for every motorist, I believe.
It was good, you know, for guys like, I love traveling, I love driving, just getting into a car and driving out of Nairobi. Unfortunately, you couldn't drive out of Nairobi, so the fuel was cheap, but the only thing you can do is drive around your parking yard.
Well, let's hope and see. Remember, at the same time, the monthly US dollar to Kenya shillings exchange has increased by 0.17%. That is from shillings 106 and 83 cents to 106 and 65 cents. So it has increased by 0.17. Yeah, that's quite an increase there. But, well, let me ask you, Fred, have you ever been to any park around Nairobi?
Yeah, I've been to the animal orphanage. I've been to the national park. I guess, and Nakuru. Okay, you said that Nairobi, so it's those two.
All right, let's say across the country. Well, if you have not visited any of those parks, well, there is something called the virtual tourism. And this pandemic has actually taught players in different sectors to become more innovative, and keeping their business afloat it's quite difficult within these times. Now, the Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife, Najib Balala, has officially launched a virtual safari live stream campaign to showcase game safaris in some of the parks and reserves across the country. Now, this campaign was actually launched a few days ago, and it's a six-week expedition across the country. So what will happen is that the Kenya Tourism Board is aiming at ensuring that the world and travelers remain connected to the destination Kenya, even during the pandemic period, where there will be no restriction of movement. So after this pandemic ends, the virtual tourism that we will be experiencing in these 6 weeks, live stream of everything and all the animals in the parks, will make us want to go to the park. Listening to this.
If you go out of sight and you go out of mind, the challenge is, as a destination, or even when you want to come back, it means that you're going to have to invest a lot more in terms of getting people to, first of all, remember that you exist, but also remember what you exist for. The challenge we had is, travel is about an experience that people have. An experience is something you have to be able to feel, to touch, to be around. So we had to find a mechanism to be able to bring that experience to people's home. They will be much more interested in experiences that are a lot more enriching, a lot more informative, a lot more collaborative, experiences that make a difference in places that they go to.
is really thinking. That is very creative. That is very, very creative, because currently TZ has already opened up. So the challenge is definitely out there. People want to go see the animals. NTZ is open. We are not open. But you give them a virtual tour of the park. That's
really
creative.
interesting. And it's something that I'm looking forward to taking part in, considering that it's free of charge. I mean, you only need to go to the internet. Why not? Local tourism to promote our own country, Well, remember the question that we are asking today is, do you support the call by NAT to have teachers teach in their local schools across their area? So that means if you come from, what's the name?
Kiadutu.
If you come from that place, you can only teach in that place primary school and the schools around, and not being posted in schools that are far away from your home. The WhatsApp number that you use to text us is 0786 316 316. SMS line to 0316. We have some people who've already texted in. In my opinion, teachers should be delocalized. This will help to reduce inequality in education, enhance unity and cooperation in teachers, promote nationalism. These are the cases where teachers posted. There are cases, where teachers posted near their homes know the parents of the pupils they may teach. Lawrence Nyaga, that is from Chuka. Asante sana, Lawrence, for tuning in. We also have someone else. This is Yof Waweru, ambulance from Free Area, that is in Nakuru. If today's schools are open, I cannot take my child back to school. He's not ready yet. Martin Dungu, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Gikomba. And you're saying, welcome on the first listener here. His name is George. Oh, George, asante sana for tuning in to Family Radio and Family TV. We appreciate you and keep it here. Well, we have Wairimo tuned in from Nairobi. Praise the Lord, let everything that has breath praise Jesus. Asante sana for that encouragement message. We also have Joseph from Kiserian. Praise God, Sarah and Fred. We're still waiting for his response because I can see he's typing. Well, kuna mtu wa Nakuru ametext hapa from Free Area. Well, there's something interesting that happened.
Yeah, I know you're pointing me because I'm supposed to read that tank story. From Free Area. Kwanza, this one, maybe he will tell us exactly where this is. It's a place called Wanyororo.
Yes.
Wanyororo in Bahati. I've been to Nakuru, but I don't know where Wanyororo is. And it's Wanyororo B. Well, the residents there have caused a storm because a local contractor is now being accused of doing shoddy work after a water tank worth 1.7 million shillings. This is taxpayers' money that was scheduled to be launched in a week's time collapsed less than a month after its construction. Well, according to the residents, the 100,000 cubic liter tank collapsed, destroying crops and homes around that place.
Tulisikia mstuko ni kama kutingizika, juriaza kutingizika, alafu ikalia pa kama ni mabuduki. Nikauliza mama yangu, mam, nikamwita na nguvu juu alikuwa amelala na ilikuwa 5:30. Nikamwita, mam, hebu sikia. Tukashindwa ni nani huyu amekuja kuchapa nini mabunduki saa hii asubuhi. Unaona ni asubuhi ni 5:30. Ai, tukashindwa kwani kunaenda aje. Hii si ndio sasa tukatoka nje na watoto wetu, hatuna hata viatu, hata mkiniangalia sina. Hata nimejifunga tu kashuka na jacket ndio nimeendea saa hii. Kutoka ni maji kwa gate inakuja mingi sana.
Unakumbuka tukio ambalo litupata kwa upande wa Solai. Sasa tangi kama hili limejengwa juu sana. Kuna maboma hapa, kuna watoto wanaamka mapema huku maybe wametumwa, lakini maji tumepata asubuhi, maji imekuja imepata watu katika maboma zao.
That's very dramatic.
Okay. That lady has just made my evening. I don't know. The sound effects now. And Kenya is a very creative country, so we'll see it somewhere else.
That's from Wanyororo.
Yeah, Wanyororo B. And someone just told me Wanyororo is on your way to, is it Njoro? Asante sana. Ooh. I still feel like laughing there. Hey, okay, sawa. Joseph has responded about the question of the day, and he says teachers should be respected and admired by the citizens. They build leaders from scratch. Sending them to local schools ain't a problem. There should, however, be a good concrete reason for that. Teaching is a door that only opens from the inside. A teacher with a passion of the art will teach anywhere. On a lighter note, unlike Fred, I wish the price of bicycle tires would go down. It's what we use to scale the adventures. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. You're saying, Umira tuned in from Nakuru. Watu wa Nakuru na wa Nyororo B. Well, quite hilarious there. That woman?
That's an actor.
Anyway, and let's just move on to quite a story that I came across over the weekend. And it's about this family in Umoja. And the mother was actually complaining that the child was hit by one of the PSV vehicles that plies the route town all the way to Komarok. And the vehicle actually it was a hit and run. And this mother is actually complaining that despite all the efforts to get to that circle, because they know the name of the circle, her efforts have actually borne no fruits, but the child is literally suffering.
I believe that matatu had passengers.
Yeah, sure.
So a matatu was hit. It's a hit and run. It has passengers, and none of the passengers has actually reported that a child was hit by this vehicle, and these guys didn't stop. It's rather sad, isn't it?
Very sad there. But listening to this story.
Hiyo gari ilitoka tu nyuma, huyo driver na bila watu, walikuwa tu watu wawili ndani. Akakuja, yani kando kwa stage, si kwa njia. Na ikakanyaga mtoto wangu. Aliumia tu kabisa, lakini watu wanaona kama hakuumia. Jumi ndio nagaramia, najua.
Michelle was immediately rushed to Mama Lucy Hospital. She then reported the incident to the police.
Nikaandikwa statement. Nikapewa abstract na P3. Nikaripoti venye accident ilifanyika. Nikaambia niko Mama Lucy, hakuna mtu yeyote ananisaidia. Hata na complain driver na mwenye gari wanisaidie, but hawako. Napiga simu anakataa. Hiyo gari Marvel Sacco ilikuwa na sticker ya Direct Line Assurance Company. Hiyo sticker inamaanisha kwamba in case of accident, yao ndio wanasimamia siku ikifika. Yeye complain sana, sometimes analia, sina pesa ya medication. Kama juu sasa na hii corona nitatoa wapi pesa? Alikuwa na complain sana usiku, akilia mguu na uma joints. So nilikuwa naomba for justice. I seek for justice. Juu peke yangu sitaweza.
Well, that is a sad mother there, and she's actually saying that it was only the conductor and the driver in the vehicle. Well, I don't know. I think ni kukosa utu.
It's true. You
this is a young baby.
That is so unfortunate.
Thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno, and I am here with Fred Njiri. Esiki Menyi texted in. Hello, Sarah and Fred. I don't know why Fred chose Kiandutu. But then, in my opinion, if learners won't go to schools in their local areas, then let them continue living where they are, where they were living before COVID-19.
If say that again, if
learners if learners won't go to schools in their local areas, then let them continue living where they were living before COVID. This COVID has caused so many people to go home,
True.
Yeah. So because of that, if
so
they cannot go
the
to
pupils
should
schools. Go to the local schools instead of going back to where they were from. Okay.
Well, we also have Kevin from Manyanja Road who is saying, evening guys, I'm loving the show. Respect to all the teachers. Well, that is a good move there. Well, thank you so much, Kevin and AC, for tuning in today. I'm trying to get a story about the elderly persons.
As you do that, maybe I can even give you my script. As you do that, I don't know. There's something. I remember when I was growing up. Now he says mad love to the teachers, respect.
Yeah.
When I would come across and mostly so these were primary school teachers when I was growing up. That was when Luanda Magere was 2 years old. You would see your teacher from a mile.
Yeah.
And you take off. It's like, there was no way we were going to be friends with our teachers.
Why?
As in, in school it was horror. As in the way we were beaten up, the way people are beaten up in prison. So you would see your teacher and you take off. These days I'm shocked. Yeah, like my kids, they are best friends with their teachers.
Yeah, sure.
Hey,
things have changed.
That never ever happened during our times. It would be strange.
Well, I'm just trying to gauge your age. Anyway, let's move on. Well, today we are celebrating the Day for Abuse for the Elderly, and people actually are campaigning against this. But we have some counties that are notorious, and I'll read a number of them. Kilifi, Kwale, Kisii, Nyamira, Tana River, Kirinyaga are the leading counties when it comes to abuse of the elderly. Well, there are also different types. You have the physical, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and one that is not spoken about so much, financial abuse, especially when someone is 60 years plus. They face so much of this abuse. Now, according to the National Legal Act Service, only 10% of cases of elders who are abused are reported to the authorities. Most of them go unreported. And that's very unfortunate.
Sure.
We also have elderly persons who've been connected to witchcraft and beaten up thoroughly, and that is what we call physical abuse. Yeah.
That happened in Kilifi. That is so sad. Well, I had an opportunity to talk about this with one Gertrude Chemirmir of Pinnacle Homes Health Services and Pastor Eric Kong. Because I wanted to find out exactly how the situation is on the ground, and biblically, how are we supposed to treat the senior citizen among us? And this is what they had to say.
We're making headway. I'm happy to see there are certain stores, like when you go to, for example, some of the major shops. Yeah. You can see that there are expressways where people who, including the elderly, are given priority. Yeah. But we still have a long way to go. Not everybody invests in ramps. Not everybody invests in walkways. Community centers where they can interact, where they can have activities. I think the church needs to get more involved. In as much as they are, I think they do the most. Yeah. I think we still have a long ways to go in terms of keeping them occupied or encouraging them to have some form of independence. Yeah. But we're making headway. It's slow. But we are getting there.
What about in terms of in the African society, in the Kenyan African society, so to speak, we used to take care of our elderly. Are you seeing this change now? Are you seeing a trend where the elderly are being abandoned?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of neglect, especially when our seniors decide that it's time to go back to the village. They've retired and they don't want to be part of the city. They just want to, go back home. Yeah. And there's a certain time whereby, whether it's because of their health, they're not able to do much. Yeah. So you find if the children, because of the life, the way life has become so overwhelmingly busy. Yeah. So we don't have the kind of time to go and visit, go and check on them, or maybe we're out of the country. And that has repercussions because you don't know what is going on. Are they eating? Are they able to make their own food? Sure. Is there someone helping them? So there's a lot of neglect. And then for the people who do get relatives or somebody to come and help, not everybody comes with the best of intentions. So sometimes you're lucky. Mm-hmm. you get somebody good, a good relative or a good, someone who you can employ.
Yeah.
But sometimes they really take advantage of this elderly. Remember, a lot of them start developing Alzheimer's, dementia.
Yeah.
They forget.
Yeah.
So, there are people who take advantage of that.
That is so sad.
Especially when it comes to finances.
Uh-huh.
So, there's a lot of disparity when it comes to that. We need to really get more involved from the aspect of family, neighbors, family, even church.
Yeah.
It would be important for us to be more involved, check what's going on, and then signal to the next of kin or somebody who can assist. Because a lot of them, it's very unfortunate if you actually go and see some of the conditions they're living in. Mm-hmm. It's very unfortunate.
Pastor Eric,
yes,
there was a time when, as Gertrude is saying, that the church needs to play a major role. If this country is, as we say, 80% Christian, what does the word say in terms of how we are supposed to treat the senior citizens? Because these are our parents.
Thank you very much. As our sister Gertrude has just shared, we need to have elders are very important people in the society. And biblically, if we go back to the Bible, in the society, the elders are supposed to be honored. They're supposed to be respected. The elders are supposed to be looked unto as a treasure in the community.
Yeah.
The elders carry a bigger portion of wealth or treasure in the society. The Bible in the book of Leviticus chapter 19, verse 32, Leviticus 19:32 says that, stand up in the presence of the elderly and show respect for the aged.
Yes.
Fear your God, I am the Lord. By virtue, just showing respect to the elderly people in the society, in the community, it's very key. It is biblical.
So if you look at what is happening even within the congregation, within the church, do you see this happening?
I would say it is not perfectly expressed to the elders.
Yes.
In the societies, because we are in the communities where we are with the people from different backgrounds.
Yes.
People who have been raised with the different values. So you'll find even in the churches, in the society where we are, where people are congregating or people are meeting in different events, you might not see it expressed very well as the Bible requests us to do.
Okay.
God, yes.
Go on.
Yes, God will expect us, and it is not a matter of I will say request, because it's biblical. The Bible emphasizes that when we see elder people, we see old people in the whether it is in the vehicle when you are seated, and then the elderly person comes in, you are supposed to stand for him or for her.
Yes.
In the church too, you are supposed to do that.
Yes.
When you are walking and then you meet this elder person on the way, give him or give her the way. Okay. You can just push aside, let them pass. But in the side that we are in,
that is not happening.
It is
not happening.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Yes.
We think that it is for yours for the struggle, yours for fighting. Everyone needs it's his rights. I mean,
yes.
Even me, I want to go. I want to pass. I want this. I want. So everybody is demanding for that opportunity or that space.
All right. During our earlier conversation, you did mention that some of these elderly citizens are actually dying of loneliness.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, that's one of the main issues that the elderly have. You can imagine if you're left day in, day out on your own.
Yeah.
whether it's in the city or whether it's in the village. In the village, it's slightly better because you'll find maybe a neighbor once in a while will pop in and, you know.
Yeah.
Here, it's even worse. If for example, you have a small house or even a big one, no, your children don't come to visit you, your friends don't come to visit you, maybe you have a housekeeper, maybe you don't. Day in, day out, you're on your own. That in itself takes you into depression.
That's sad.
And that's what it was one of the major catalysts for giving up.
If you were to speak right now, because there are people who are watching, and they have parents who are elderly, they have people who are elderly, in a nutshell, what would you tell them?
Make time to make the phone calls, to visit, make time to pick them up, take them out, take them to your home, arrange for them to visit some of their old friends. It's a lot of you're really investing in them, because once they get to a certain age, they don't want to seem to be a bother.
Yeah.
They understand and they see how everybody is so preoccupied with their lives. So they literally, they don't ask for much. If you come to visit, they're happy. They appreciate, but you will notice that they don't want to ask for too much. So for me, I always tell anyone who still has parents, or aunties, uncles, that are elderly, make time. They really look forward to those visits. They really, that is actually the climax of their day.
Oh, that's
they really enjoy it, and it really takes them. It gives them encouragement, gives them a reason to live. Just looking forward to your visits.
Right.
So it's really important. We need to make that time.
Okay.
And in terms of the church, I would really like, if the church needs to educate their parishioners, because it's so true when you say that, back in the day, we would stand up for the elderly. An elderly lady walks in, elderly man, it's automatic.
You stand up for them.
These days, if you notice, we are all seated, including our children, who are all, they've taken the whole pew. And the old muzee is standing there. It's so unfortunate. I think we need to go back to basics. We've lost it. Somewhere along the way, we lost it.
Okay.
So in terms of schools, in terms of churches, I think it's important for us to...
Re-education.
We need to re-educate ourselves and remind ourselves just basic principles.
Okay. Pastor Eric, as we close, just a briefer, if you were to talk to people who have parents, or just generally the congregation, what would you tell them about the most important thing about the old people and how we need to treat them?
Treating the elderly people with the due respect, and also valuing the experience that they have lived here on earth. There are many values that they have set, both in our African tradition, culture, or wherever the sphere a person comes from. There are many things that they have done for whether in the church circle, in the society, in the community, and we cannot just throw them out and not give them a space. They might not be energetic or strong or activists as we are at our age, but we need to honor them. And then also when we are talking to them, we talk to them with respect. They might take time in their thinking, in their reasoning, but give them time. They need to hear from us, and we need to hear from them. Let them know that they have got a space in the society, in the community. We should not take it as if they are nowhere. In fact, some people take them as useless people. I'm sorry to use that word. they don't have value to live, they don't have anything to contribute to the community. They're the ones who are carrying the value to give over, the baton to give over to other generations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Gertrude and Pastor Eric, for taking time to tell us about this. I think it's so key, because whatever we are doing right now to our parents and to the elderly is what will be done to us when we are that age. And if we don't say it now, we are going to reap what we are sowing right now.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. God
You're
bless
most
you.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
All right.
Well, that is very informative there, you know.
Yeah, true.
And they ended with something, your conversation ended with something very important. Whatever you're doing right now to your parents, that is exactly the kind of treatment you will get from your children.
Yeah, it's very biblical. And talking about biblical, I love what is happening in Iran. You know, despite an intensified campaign by the Iranian government to try and stop the spread of Christianity there, there are quite a number of people who are giving their lives to the Lord Jesus Christ. There's been an intentional campaign by the government to pull back and to stop this. In fact, some of the clerics have been warning against the spread of Christianity, leading to house churches being routinely targeted by the authorities. And conversions are actually viewed as a state of national security, meaning you get converted to Christianity and it becomes a major deal.
Yeah.
But you know what? Jesus is getting through into Iran and saving people in their homes. And I think that's just one of the most beautiful things in this world, because it simply means that we are getting close to the end.
Wow. And that reminds me of a story once, kitambo in Nigeria. You remember the lady was convicted because of being a Christian? One of the old stories there. Well, and just on a lighter note, do you know that yesterday was President Donald Trump's birthday?
Oh, really?
Yes. And he's aging gracefully. He's only 73 years old. Only. But he's still this funny guy that I look up to, and just watching his videos and the speeches he gives. Well, he was also surprised by some of the members that he was addressing, that surprisingly they just decided to sing him happy birthday. Listen to this.
I would love to just touch him. I love Donald Trump. I love him because he loves America. Just watching everybody like-minded, just having a great time. Having a huge party, and it's great.
Policies are things that are actually helping the Black community, and they're doing a lot, like in general, just to put us in positions to get out of poverty, to exceed in life in general.
Beautiful. Wow.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Well, happy belated birthday to him.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised he didn't insult anybody.
No, on your birthday you remain calm, you know. It's the same even for the president of the US. Well, we gotta wind up this show. And thank you so much, Alice Kimanzi. That is Alice from Machakos, for tuning in. Well, and also Esiki Menya, have seen your responses. Asante sana for tuning in today. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to This Is The Day. Let us catch up again tomorrow and the day after. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And I'm Frederick Njiri.
We're leaving you with this song that is quite old, released in 1995 by the group Jazz of Clay. The name of the song is World Apart. Have a good night.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.